Jesus says, I give everlasting life. So Jesus gives all believers that kind of life that's moral incorruptibility, because he's going to transform us to be morally incorruptible, where we will never be able to sin again and make us physically immortal, which means that Jesus must be all-powerful, all-present, and all-knowing, because he must know who the sheep are and have the ability to preserve them incorruptibly. Therefore, anyone knowing the Old Testament clearly sees Jesus just claimed the very language of Yahweh God, but at the same time, he's not the Father. Because if you go to John 10:29, look what he says there.
The Father who has given them to me is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of the Father's hand.
They got it. Okay, you're not the Father in heaven, and no one can snatch out of the Father's hand, no one can snatch out of your hand. And then he says, John 10:30.
I and the Father are one.
The Jews got it, because in 31 it says, at this they picked up stones to stone him. And then in 32 he says, many good works I've shown you from the Father. For which of these do you stone me? And here's the key, 33. The Jews said, for a good work we do not stone you, but for blasphemy. And because you, a man, make yourself out to be God. See, they got it. You're a man, and you claim to be God, even though you're not the Father. But they didn't believe it because they thought he's just a man, no more, no less. So the way Jesus expressed his deity, they got it. No one doubted that this man is claiming to be God, and yet he's not the Father. But they didn't believe it because they couldn't envision, number one, God becoming a man, and number two, that there is a son, even though they should have known this from the Hebrew Bible, that is equal to the Father, and yet he's not a separate God. That's how I would deal, or that's how Jesus dealt with Jews, and I would have to follow a similar approach with Jehovah's Witnesses, because Jehovah's Witnesses too get confused when you say Jesus is God, because to them, they're going to say, wait, if Jesus is God, did he send himself? Is he his own son? Is he his own father? Because to them, God means the Father. So this is one way of approaching the topic, depending on your audience. So that was Jesus' audience.